Welcome to Wild Boy Movies, the place to talk movies. And Marvel went ahead and surprised us by dropping the second and first full-length official trailer for the Fantastic Four First Steps. Now, before you go in the comments saying that we already got a trailer, I know, but this is more of like an official trailer giving off like plot details. So what I'm going to be doing in this video is giving you guys my thoughts on that Fantastic Four trailer and give you guys some theories and speculations on where this movie could go and what it could do to set up Avengers Doomsday. So be sure to hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and comment down below your thoughts on the Fantastic Four trailer. But without further ado, let's get right into it. Alright, so giving you guys my overall general thoughts on that new Fantastic Four trailer. I thought it was a really good trailer and definitely brought my excitement up for the movie. I knew I was really excited for that Fantastic Four movie from when it was announced in like 2020 to we got the cast and we got that teaser trailer back in February. But my excitement for this movie from that teaser trailer was that it looks like it'll be a great movie. Now watching this trailer, I think that this movie will be fantastic. Yes, that was a pun that was intended. But yeah, this movie just honestly looks so good and probably could be the most hyped movie, in my opinion, of the MCU. If we put aside like the nostalgia bait movies like Deadpool, Wolverine, and Spider-Man No Way Home. And one of the things that I liked in that new Fantastic Four trailer was giving off some of that dynamic between each members of the Fantastic Four. Like there's a scene where Sue Storm reveals that she is pregnant, which I think is going to become like a big deal in the future of the MCU because Sue Storm and Reed Richards' child is Franklin Richards, one of the most powerful characters in the Marvel Universe. Anyway, hey, when Johnny Storm hears the news, he says that Sue Storm will be a great mother, and then he says Reed Richards will be a great father before saying, no, I'm kidding, and then saying that him and Ben Grimm, the Thing, will be great uncles. Like, that's just some good dynamics between the Fantastic Four team that I just like to see. Now, side note, I haven't seen any of the Fantastic Four movies, but I do think that the dynamic here between the cast members is doing very well and a very strong point and will honestly be the big vocal point of the movie because this is supposed to be Marvel's first family and I think that aspect is playing up very well. I also am really digging this retro futuristic look for New York City in this Fantastic Four universe because yes, if you've been unaware, this new Fantastic Four movie will be set outside of the main MCU timeline, and director of the film, Matt Shakman, went ahead and revealed that do not expect any Easter eggs and references or cameos to like a broader MCU since this movie is set in its own separate universe, which will feel very refreshing because a lot of the MCU just feels like it's just setup. Here, we don't really need to do any setup since this is their own separate universe and there's really nothing that you need to watch in order to understand this new Fantastic Four movie, which is just very refreshing and why I honestly do think that this could be the most hyped MCU movie in a long time because you don't really need to watch anything to understand this new Fantastic Four movie. And I also do like how in this retro futuristic city, the Fantastic Four are essentially like celebrities, like they help out with like the town and city, and I just love the part where Ben Grimm is just entertaining kids by lifting an old car. Like that's just some of the things I like about the Fantastic Four and how they're basically like the only superheroes in this universe, so they're like treated like celebrities and a big deal where they help out New York City whenever they need help. And that is a good way to segue into the film's villain, Galactus. Now, before we get to Galactus, let's talk about his herald, the Silver Surfer. Now, we knew the Silver Surfer would be appearing in this movie, played by Joya Gardner. Now, before you go ahead and get angry and woke, there is a female Silver Surfer in the comics by the name of Shala Ball. So, there is a female Silver Surfer out there for Marvel to adapt, and they didn't just gender swap the Silver Surfer. But here, we get our first look at what Joy Gardner will look like as the Silver Surfer, and I do think that she looks pretty good in this live action format. I do really like the shiny metallic texture that they gave to the Silver Surfer. Now, we do have to talk about the previous Silver Surfer that we got in like the early 2000s Fantastic Four movies that was played by Lawrence Fishburne. I do think that comparing the two, they were kind of the same and equal in terms of how great they look in live action. So there was honestly no way that you could mess up a Silver Surfer design. And yeah, I do think that we will get plenty of good action sequences with this Silver Surfer, especially in the trailer where we see her using her silver surfboard to slide down like this pole or pipe thing with fire in the background. Like that just looks so cool to see. As for Galactus, we don't get a full look at the character of Galactus in here, who will be played by Ralph Ineson, who you might remember from the first Omen, which I thought that role for him in First Omen proved that he will be a good Galactus in the Fantastic Four. But here, we don't get a full look of him. We do get one new shot of Galactus, which is of him walking down the streets of New York City. Now, that particular shot I think is an actual practical effect, not CG, because we did get revealed that Galactus will be a mixture of practical effects and computer-generated effects, CGI. And I do think that shot of Galactus just walking down the streets in New York is a practical effect, and the buildings and cars and other things on the ground are just miniatures with Ralph Ineson just walking by. That I really like that Marvel's embracing some practical effects in here. And we did also get revealed, that wasn't in this trailer but from an interview with Entertainment Weekly, that Galactus will be able to change sizes. So he could go from like as tall as like Godzilla to as tall to where Earth is kind of like a little like marble. So before you guys complain like Galactus is too small, he can change sizes, and I think that will be a big part for the Fantastic Four fighting off against Galactus. I will say that it's kind of funny seeing people freak out that Reed Richards, Mr. Fantastic, is using his stretchy powers, because yeah, we knew that he would be able to do that because that is his powers. But from the first Fantastic Four trailer that we got in February, he didn't really show off his powers. We got the powers of Ben Grimm, Johnny Storm, and Invisible Woman, but not Reed Richards for some reason. Here, yeah, he will use his powers in the movie. It's just for one shot in this trailer, but it's making a lot of people freak out. Like, yes, he will have his powers, like, obviously he will, but also I will complain about the Fantastic Four for a little bit. Reed Richards' suit. Now, don't get me wrong, the Fantastic Four suits in here are great, but Reed Richards in particular, he just needs that white collar, because it's kind of like an OCD thing. Like, the others have like white collars on their suits. Why doesn't Reed Richards have a white collar on his suit? Like, that's a simple thing that they could change, and that suit would be perfect, but it's still really good nonetheless. But let's go ahead and talk about the Fantastic Four's mission in here to save the world, because they are asked by the general public, hey, are we safe? And Reed responds with, I don't know, but we will protect you. And we do get a shot of like the Fantastic Four spaceship going to like some sort of planet. Some people have speculated that it could be a planet that Galactus is currently consuming, so the Fantastic Four know what they're up against. Or this could be Earth and its destruction. I saw some people also speculate that this could be a sort of like vision or dream sequence that Johnny Storm has once he touches the Silver Surfer's board and sees the future that Galactus could bring to their world. But yeah, Final Destination-esque style for Johnny Storm. But I do think that this movie will ultimately end with the destruction of the Fantastic Four's world. I do believe that theory, because we know that this Fantastic Four team will be appearing in Avengers Doomsday. We saw that in that nearly 5.5-hour chair montage. All 4 members of the Fantastic Four will be showing up in that movie, and I do think that they do need to set up the Fantastic Four going into the MCU to fight off against Robert Downey Jr.'s Doctor Doom, and I think that post-credits scene could go ahead and set that up, or even the ending, in fact, with the Fantastic Four failing and the world getting destroyed, not knowing what to do, and then Reed Richards deciding to go to another universe, aka the 616 universe, the main MCU timeline, and thus further setting up how the Fantastic Four get involved in the Doomsday and Secret Wars crisis. But I do think that there is a possibility for Robert Downey Jr. to make a small cameo in this movie. I've heard that apparently that rumor has been debunked, but I'm gonna go ahead and give it like a 10 or 20 or at max 40% chance that Robert Downey Jr. shows up in the Fantastic Four's post-credit scene setting up Avengers Doomsday, because I do honestly think that they need to go ahead and have at least one thing setting up Doctor Doom, because we were supposed to have Kang as the big villain for the Multiverse Saga, and Avengers Doomsday was supposed to be called Avengers Kang Dynasty, but the Jonathan Majors situation and Ant-Man 3 flopping really got rid of all the Kang plans, and we got Doctor Doom now, and we got no setup for Robert Downey Jr.'s Doctor Doom at all. So I would kind of want the post-credit scene of Fantastic Four to have like a little tease towards Robert Downey Jr.'s Doctor Doom. And the last thing that I will go ahead and bring up, it's not really towards the movie itself, it's the competition. Now, I'm not worried about the Fantastic Four flopping or anything. I do think it has a good chance of it succeeding. What I mean by competition is, I want to pose the question, will the Fantastic Four make more money than James Gunn's Superman? Because that's the big question, is which movie will end up making more money, Superman or the Fantastic Four? So I'm going to leave that as an open question for you guys to answer. So go ahead and leave that down in the comments. What movie do you think will make more money at the box office this July, Superman or the Fantastic Four? But yeah, overall, really happy with this new Fantastic Four trailer. I do think that this movie will be an absolute winner, and I can't wait to go ahead and check this movie out in theaters when it releases in July. So go ahead and leave your comments and thoughts on the Fantastic Four trailer down in the comments section. And while you're at it, be sure to hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you in the next video. And have a great day.